My beloved child, before your thoughts race ahead, be still for just a moment, because some beginnings never arrive with loud announcements. They arrive quietly, like the first golden light touching the horizon before anyone notices the morning has begun. There is a gentle feeling surrounding this moment, and if you remain here until the very end, you may recognize why your heart has been searching for something it could never quite explain. Don't skip. Something important is waiting for you, and it reveals itself one peaceful step at a time. There are seasons when life seems ordinary on the surface, yet beneath that calm, countless small moments are finding their perfect place. It is often during those unnoticed days that the future begins writing its most meaningful chapter. This is one of those moments. Not because everything changes overnight, but because something beautiful has quietly started moving closer than it has ever been before. There is a reason the thought of new beginnings has appeared around you again and again. Perhaps you brushed it aside. Perhaps you believed it was only your imagination. Yet some hopes return because they are reminding you to keep your heart open rather than telling you exactly what tomorrow will bring. The image of a little baby girl carries more than the idea of a child. It represents tenderness, hope, laughter echoing through a home, tiny hands reaching toward familiar faces, and a future that feels brighter simply because love has found another way to grow. Sometimes the heart recognizes this kind of symbol long before the mind understands it. And somewhere within this unfolding story, your soulmate is connected, not through certainty or prediction, but through a quiet thread that seems to be weaving two paths toward the same peaceful destination. Stay till the end, because this connection is deeper than it first appears. Think about how certain people enter our lives without noise, yet leave a lasting warmth that never fades. The strongest bonds often begin with the smallest moments, an unexpected conversation, a shared smile, a feeling that someone understands you without many words. The same gentle pattern can exist in life's greatest blessings. They rarely arrive dramatically. Instead, they unfold one meaningful moment after another until one day you look back and realize the story had already begun long before you recognized it. Your soulmate may be walking through a season of quiet preparation as well. They may be learning patience, discovering gratitude, or letting go of old expectations so they can fully appreciate what comes next. Growth often happens in silence. While no one applauds it, it shapes everything that follows. That is why rushing this story would take away its beauty. Every small chapter matters. Every unseen lesson matters. Every gentle pause carries purpose. And perhaps the most remarkable part is this: the beginning you have been hoping for may not announce itself with certainty. It may first appear as a feeling, a peaceful sense that life is slowly making room for something wonderfully different. Before this part comes to its close, hold on to one quiet thought. If new life symbolizes hope, then what is preparing the hearts that will one day welcome that hope? That answer has not fully revealed itself yet, and the next chapter begins where this gentle mystery becomes even more meaningful. There is another layer to this story that only becomes visible when you stop trying to hurry toward the ending. Sometimes the most meaningful connections are preparing themselves in ways that cannot be measured by calendars or expectations. They grow quietly, almost invisibly, until one ordinary day reveals that nothing was ever ordinary at all. Stay till the end, because what unfolds next is not about rushing toward an answer. It is about recognizing the quiet beauty that has been forming around you all along. Imagine a peaceful home where laughter arrives naturally, where tiny footsteps someday fill empty spaces with joy, where every sunrise feels a little brighter simply because love has found another reason to smile. That picture is not meant to create certainty about the future. Instead, it reminds you that the heart often dreams in symbols before reality catches up. The image of a baby girl represents innocence, fresh hope, gentle beginnings, and the kind of love that teaches everyone around her to become softer, kinder, and more patient. It is as though life is whispering that something precious deserves careful preparation before it arrives. And this is where your soulmate's connection becomes even more remarkable. While you may not see every step they are taking, they could be growing in ways that make tomorrow stronger than yesterday. Every lesson they embrace, every moment of compassion they choose, every quiet decision to become a better version of themselves creates a foundation that reaches farther than they may realize. Real love is rarely built in dramatic moments. It is built through countless quiet choices that no one else notices. Perhaps that is why this chapter feels so calm. It is inviting you to appreciate the unseen work that often shapes life's greatest blessings. Don't skip, because there is a realization approaching that many people overlook. Sometimes we believe we are waiting for an event, when in truth the event is waiting for two hearts to become ready in their own unique ways. Readiness is not perfection. It is simply the willingness to welcome life with gratitude instead of fear, patience instead of pressure, and hope instead of doubt. That gentle shift changes everything. It transforms ordinary days into meaningful ones and allows new beginnings to unfold with surprising grace. Have you ever noticed how certain memories stay with you even though nothing extraordinary happened in that moment? A quiet afternoon, a familiar smile, a peaceful conversation. Those memories remain because they carry genuine presence. The future often begins exactly like that. Not with fireworks, but with a simple moment that later becomes unforgettable. Perhaps your soulmate is collecting those moments even now, unaware that each one is shaping a beautiful chapter still waiting to be discovered. And perhaps you are doing the same without realizing it. The gentle symbol of a little girl continues to shine through this story because she represents more than tomorrow. She reminds us that love is meant to grow, to nurture, to protect, and to inspire. Whether her presence eventually becomes part of your life's journey or simply remains a beautiful symbol of hope, the message remains the same. Every meaningful beginning asks the heart to become a little more open than it was yesterday. As this quiet chapter comes to a close, another question rises softly from beneath the surface. If both hearts have been preparing in silence, what unexpected moment could reveal that those separate paths have already begun moving toward the same beautiful destination? That answer is closer than it seems, and the next part gently uncovers the first sign that something truly meaningful has started to unfold. The quietest moments often carry the greatest meaning. And this next step begins with something so gentle that many people would overlook it completely. Yet when you see the full picture, you may realize that some of life's most beautiful chapters never begin with certainty, they begin with a peaceful feeling that refuses to disappear. Stay till the end, because another piece of this story is about to settle into place, and it may change the way you look at every small moment from this day forward. There are times when the heart becomes unexpectedly softer. You find yourself smiling at simple things, noticing children laughing in a park, pausing when you hear a familiar melody, or feeling a quiet sense of gratitude without fully knowing why. Those moments are easy to dismiss, but they often remind us that hope is growing in places we cannot yet see. The future rarely introduces itself all at once. Instead, it leaves gentle footprints that only make sense when you look back. That is why patience is not empty waiting, it is quiet trust that every meaningful detail is finding its place. Your soulmate may be experiencing something surprisingly similar. Perhaps they have begun imagining a future that feels warmer than before. Not because they have every answer, but because their heart has become more open to the idea of building something lasting, peaceful, and filled with genuine care. Real love changes people long before they realize it. It encourages kindness where there was once hesitation. It replaces uncertainty with quiet confidence. It teaches someone to think beyond themselves and to imagine a home where every new season is welcomed with gratitude. This transformation is never loud. It happens one thoughtful choice at a time, one hopeful dream at a time, until suddenly the future feels close enough to touch. Don't skip, because there is another realization quietly waiting for you. The symbol of a baby girl is not only about new life. It also reflects the gentle qualities that lasting love depends upon: compassion, innocence, patience, tenderness, and the ability to find joy in the smallest moments. These qualities are already growing inside the hearts that will one day share them with others. Before any beautiful chapter fully opens, those qualities become its foundation. That is why every quiet lesson you have learned, every moment you chose hope over disappointment, every time you continued believing in goodness even when life felt uncertain, has mattered more than you know. None of it has been wasted. Imagine two people standing beneath the same evening sky, unaware that they are both looking toward the same future from different places. One is learning to trust again. The other is learning to wait without losing hope. Neither realizes that every lesson is gently bringing them closer to a shared beginning. There is something deeply comforting about that thought. It reminds us that meaningful connections are often prepared long before they are fully revealed. The story is not racing ahead because true beauty is never in a hurry. It unfolds with grace, allowing every chapter to become stronger than the one before it. And then comes a quiet thought that lingers in the heart. What if the greatest gift is not simply the arrival of a new beginning, but the kind of people you and your soulmate are becoming before that beginning arrives? Perhaps that is the hidden miracle of this journey. Every peaceful day, every patient step, every hopeful expectation is shaping a future that feels more complete than either of you could imagine today. As this chapter gently fades, another mystery begins to rise. Someone, somewhere, is about to recognize a small detail that seems completely ordinary, yet that single moment will quietly connect everything that has been unfolding until now. When that moment appears, the story will take its most meaningful turn yet, and that is where the next part begins. Not every turning point arrives with a grand announcement. Some arrive wrapped inside a moment so ordinary that only a patient heart notices its quiet significance. This is one of those moments. Don't skip, because the smallest detail in this chapter may become the one you remember long after every other part has faded. There is something beautiful about the way hope moves. It never forces its way into a person's life. It simply waits until the heart is ready to receive it. And perhaps that is why this journey has unfolded so gently. It has never been about rushing toward an ending. It has always been about preparing two hearts to recognize something precious when it finally appears before them. Imagine your soulmate pausing for a brief moment during an otherwise ordinary day. Nothing dramatic happens. No extraordinary event interrupts the silence. Yet something inside them shifts almost without explanation. They begin thinking differently about tomorrow. The future no longer feels like a distant idea. Instead, it begins to feel personal, warm, welcoming. They find themselves appreciating the simple image of a peaceful home, shared laughter, quiet evenings, and the possibility of watching new life bring fresh joy into every corner of that future. Sometimes the heart understands what it truly values long before the mind finds the words to describe it. Stay till the end, because another quiet realization is about to unfold. The symbol of a baby girl continues to appear because she represents the gentlest form of hope. She reminds us that every meaningful future begins with love that chooses to grow instead of fear that chooses to retreat. She represents kindness passed from one heart to another, compassion that becomes stronger with every passing season, and joy that asks for nothing except to be shared. Whether this image eventually becomes part of your own life story or simply remains a reminder of beautiful possibilities, its message is the same. The greatest beginnings are built through gentle hearts willing to welcome tomorrow with gratitude. There is another layer that many people never notice. Before two people build a meaningful future together, they often begin carrying the same quiet dreams without realizing it. Your soulmate may not know every detail of the road ahead, just as you may not. Yet both hearts can slowly begin valuing the same things. Peace instead of noise, sincerity instead of appearances, lasting love instead of temporary excitement. These shared values become invisible threads, drawing two lives closer long before either person fully understands why. That is why some connections feel strangely familiar when they finally appear. The foundation has been growing in silence all along. Think about how a garden is prepared. Long before the first flower appears, the soil is cared for, the seeds are placed with patience, and countless quiet days pass without visible results. To someone walking by, nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the surface, life is already beginning. The heart works in much the same way. What seems like waiting is often preparation. What feels like stillness is often growth. What appears ordinary may actually be the beginning of something extraordinary in the gentlest possible way. And then, a peaceful thought begins to settle. What if the beautiful future you have quietly imagined is already finding its shape through moments that seem too small to notice today? What if every act of patience, every choice to remain hopeful, every quiet expression of kindness has been placing another piece into a story that is becoming more complete with each passing day? The answer does not rush toward you. It arrives softly, just as every meaningful chapter has throughout this journey. As this part draws to a close, one final image remains. Somewhere, your soulmate is about to experience a simple conversation, one that appears completely ordinary at first. Yet within those few gentle words lies a realization that will cause them to look toward the future with new appreciation and quiet anticipation. They will not fully understand why that conversation stays with them, but in the next chapter, you will begin to understand exactly why it mattered so much. Sometimes a single conversation leaves behind an echo that lingers far longer than the words themselves. It isn't because something extraordinary was said. It is because something deep within the heart quietly recognized a truth it had been waiting to hear. Stay till the end, because this gentle realization becomes the bridge between everything that has unfolded so far and everything that is still waiting beyond the horizon. Your soulmate sits in an ordinary moment, listening more carefully than usual. The conversation moves naturally from one topic to another until someone begins speaking about family, about the joy of watching generations grow, about the unexpected happiness that a little child can bring into a home. No one is trying to predict the future. No one is making promises. Yet those simple words awaken something peaceful inside them. For the first time in a long while, they don't just imagine tomorrow, they begin to appreciate what a loving future could truly feel like. Not perfect. Not without challenges. Simply filled with warmth, understanding, and the quiet happiness that grows when people choose one another every single day. And then, almost without realizing it, your soulmate smiles. It is a small smile, one that lasts only a few seconds. But it carries the weight of countless hopes that had never been spoken aloud. In that brief moment, they understand that the most beautiful future is not built from grand achievements alone. It is built from bedtime stories, shared meals, gentle laughter, tiny footsteps running across the floor, comforting words after long days, and hearts that never stop encouraging one another. The image of a baby girl gently returns, not as certainty, but as a beautiful symbol of innocence, renewal, and the kind of love that inspires people to become their very best. Don't skip, because another layer is quietly unfolding. While your soulmate reflects on these gentle thoughts, you are also changing in ways that may not be obvious yet. Every experience that taught you patience, every season that strengthened your kindness, every moment that encouraged you to believe in brighter days has been preparing your heart for something meaningful. Growth often happens so gradually that we only recognize it when we compare who we are today with who we once were. You are not standing where you stood before. Neither is your soulmate. Both of your journeys have been moving, even during the quietest chapters. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that meaningful connections do not rely on perfect timing alone. They are strengthened by the people both hearts become along the way. A peaceful future is not created in one unforgettable day. It is created through thousands of gentle moments that teach two people how to love with patience, gratitude, and sincerity. That is why this story has never rushed. Every quiet pause has been adding another layer of beauty to what is still unfolding. Now picture a peaceful evening. The sky is painted with soft colors as the day slowly comes to an end. Somewhere, your soulmate pauses once again, looking toward the horizon with a feeling they cannot fully explain. They are not searching for answers anymore. Instead, they are quietly welcoming possibility. And in that peaceful welcome, something changes. Hope no longer feels distant. It feels close enough to carry into tomorrow. As this chapter gently closes, one final thought begins to shine through the silence. There is still one beautiful piece of this story that has not yet been revealed, a quiet connection that links your journey, your soulmate's growing hope, and the gentle symbol of a baby girl in a way that neither heart has fully understood. When that final piece appears, everything you've heard until now will come together with a deeper meaning, and the next part will reveal why this beautiful beginning feels closer than ever before. There comes a moment in every meaningful story when scattered pieces no longer feel separate. They begin to fit together so naturally that you wonder if they were always meant to meet. This is that moment. Don't skip. Because the quiet thread that has been weaving through every chapter is finally becoming visible, and its beauty lies not in certainty, but in the hope it awakens. The gentle image of a baby girl has never been about predicting tomorrow. It has been a symbol of something timeless, a reminder that every lasting love eventually begins to think beyond itself. There comes a season when two hearts stop asking, "What can I receive?" and quietly begin asking, "What kind of life can we build together?" That simple change transforms everything. It changes how people speak, how they listen, how they dream, and how they care for one another. It turns ordinary moments into the foundation of something extraordinary. Your soulmate may not know every chapter that still lies ahead, but one thing has begun to grow within them, a deeper appreciation for the future. They are starting to understand that the greatest joys are often the quietest ones. A peaceful morning shared with someone they love. Gentle laughter filling a room. Small celebrations that become unforgettable memories. Kindness offered without expecting anything in return. These are the moments that shape a meaningful life, and without even realizing it, their heart has begun making room for them. Stay till the end, because there is one realization that completes this beautiful picture. Think about a tiny seed resting beneath the earth. No one applauds it. No one sees the silent work taking place beneath the surface. Yet every day, unseen roots stretch a little farther, gathering strength for the moment they finally reach the light. Love often grows in exactly the same way. Before anyone notices its beauty, it spends countless quiet days building a foundation strong enough to support every season that follows. Perhaps that is what has been happening throughout this entire journey. While life appeared calm, something meaningful has been taking root in both your heart and your soulmate's heart. The symbol of a baby girl gently reminds us that hope is always willing to begin again. It reminds us that every sunrise offers another opportunity to choose patience over hurry, gratitude over doubt, and kindness over fear. Whether this image one day becomes part of your personal story or simply remains a beautiful reminder of fresh beginnings, its purpose has already been fulfilled. It has encouraged you to look toward tomorrow with an open heart instead of a guarded one. And perhaps that is the quiet connection you have been searching for all along. Your soulmate is connected to this beautiful new beginning because the future they are slowly preparing for is no longer centered on uncertainty. It is becoming centered on love that grows steadily, gently, and faithfully through everyday moments. The same hope that has been quietly stirring within your heart has been encouraging theirs as well. Two separate journeys, both learning the same lesson. That the strongest futures are not built through dramatic moments, but through consistent compassion, quiet trust, and shared dreams that become stronger with time. As this journey comes to a peaceful close, let this final thought remain with you. The most beautiful beginnings rarely arrive all at once. They appear one gentle moment after another until, one day, you look around and realize your heart has already stepped into a brand new chapter without even noticing when it began. And perhaps that is the greatest gift of all, not knowing every page before it is written, but welcoming each new one with hope, gratitude, and the quiet confidence that every meaningful beginning starts with a heart ready to love, and yet, even after a beautiful chapter seems complete, life has a quiet way of revealing one final truth that makes everything else shine a little brighter. If you have stayed with this journey until now, you may already sense that the deepest message was never about a single moment. It was about the kind of heart that is willing to welcome every new beginning with gentleness and hope. Stay till the end, because this last reflection ties every thread together in the most peaceful way. Imagine yourself looking back years from now, remembering this season not for its uncertainty, but for the quiet transformation that took place within you. You may not remember every detail, every ordinary day, or every unanswered question. But you will remember the calm that slowly replaced impatience. You will remember the gratitude that grew stronger than worry. You will remember choosing hope, even when the full picture had not yet appeared. Those are the moments that quietly shape a meaningful life. Your soulmate's journey has been unfolding in much the same way. Every lesson, every act of kindness, every thoughtful decision has been preparing them for a future built on sincerity rather than appearances. That preparation is not dramatic, yet it is deeply powerful. Lasting love is strengthened by ordinary moments shared with extraordinary care. It grows through listening, encouraging, forgiving, celebrating small victories, and choosing one another again and again. Those quiet choices become the heartbeat of every beautiful chapter. Don't skip. Because there is one final realization waiting here. The gentle symbol of a baby girl has always pointed toward renewal. She represents the courage to begin again with innocence, the willingness to believe that tomorrow can hold new joy, and the reminder that love becomes richer when it is shared with an open heart. Whether that symbol eventually becomes part of your personal story or simply remains a source of inspiration, it leaves behind a timeless invitation. Never stop making room for hope. The future is not only shaped by the moments that happen to us. It is also shaped by the kindness, patience, and gratitude we choose to carry into each new day. As this story softly comes to its final page, let one thought remain with you. Every meaningful beginning starts quietly. Every lasting connection grows patiently. And every hopeful heart has the ability to recognize beauty long before the entire picture is visible. That is the quiet gift this journey has offered, a reminder that the most precious chapters of life often begin with a single gentle step, taken with faith in tomorrow and love in the heart. So as you move forward, carry this peaceful truth with you: beautiful new beginnings rarely ask us to have all the answers. They simply ask us to remain open to the possibilities that arrive one gentle moment at a time. And sometimes, that openness becomes the very reason an ordinary day is remembered as the day a wonderful new chapter truly began.